Well, welcome everyone. It's so nice to see everybody here in the chambers on this beautiful evening here in Kalamazoo, and so nice to see my colleagues. We did not have a committee of the whole meeting tonight, so this is our first meeting of the evening, which is actually a rare event for us. So I'm going to call to order the business meeting for the Kalamazoo City Commission for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. And the first order of business is roll call. Clerk Borling.
Commissioner Cooney. Present. Commissioner Decker.
Present.
Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Pradel.
Present.
Commissioner Wilson.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you, Clerk Borling. May I have a motion to excuse Commissioner Hoffman? Motion made by Commissioner Decker. Supported by Commissioner Cooney. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. We are blessed for our opening ceremony here today to have the Reverend Mayor Austin, who's from right across the street here, across the park, First Congregational Church, and I will be asking her to come forward to provide the invocation to get us started, and I will be asking everyone to please stand while she provides that, and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Austin.
Let us quiet our hearts and spirits and come before God. O God, who is light and grace, truth and compassion, as the seasons turn, as we begin new routines and new patterns, we thank you again for the beauty of our city. We are grateful for each place where someone tonight is making music or lifting a paintbrush, spinning a pot or planting a tree, planning a lesson for children or caring for adults, making a hospital bed or cleaning up trash, each one adding to the web of our community. We give you thanks for leaders who give their time and energy, ideas and wisdom in service to the city, and for those who love the city and will come and speak tonight. And we pray that you would give everyone in this meeting gifts of strength, vision, and compassion, adding to the web of our community. Be tender, we pray, with those who will call 911 tonight, and with those who will turn on the siren and answer. Spread a blanket of peace over those who will sleep outside or toss restlessly in unsafe homes. Give courage to those who will attend 12-step meetings and energy to those who will work late. Watch over teachers and lunch ladies beginning a new year, over principals stretched thin and students who are fearful, all part of the web of our community. Weave it all together, we pray, God of all people, continuing to build our city full of welcome, energy, safety, and peace for all. We pray in hope. Amen.
Thank you so much again, Reverend Austin. I appreciate your presence here. We are now down to the adoption of the formal agenda. Commissioners, do you have any items that are on G, the consent agenda, that you would like to have moved to H, the regular agenda? Seeing none, the agenda stands as it is. Next, communications. Manager Ritzma.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. Now is the opportunity for public comments. Just as a reminder, you'll have 4 minutes, and you can watch that on the timer right in front of you there to speak on any topic that you would like for this business meeting. Please come forward, state your name, and whether you live in the city. Also, just another reminder, this is generally not a time for dialogue. It's a time for you to express your topics you are interested in or concerned about. Please go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Katie Bloom. I live on Rambling Road in the Winchell neighborhood. I came before you in January of 2024 with a petition of hundreds of names asking for the removal of the roundabouts. If you heard a collective sigh and a collective cheer about 2 weeks ago from the neighborhood, that was us. If you heard the fireworks, that wasn't us. That was the returning students to the campus. But I'm here because I represented a large group of people to say we need attention to this. We followed up with you with letters and emails, and you followed up by holding listening sessions and listening to what the people in the neighborhood had to say. You followed up by asking us as a neighborhood to vote, and we collectively voted. And when it came time and the votes were counted, the roundabouts were removed, and we found there's other viable alternatives that offer us safe routes to school, safe routes for biking, safe routes for travel. And I'm here to say there is much gratitude from our neighborhood to this city, to the city commissioners, to the mayor, to the staff, for listening to our concerns and taking the time to do something about it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Something I wrote here. My name's CJ. I live right down the road here. I tried to handle this without coming here, but I'm a resident, or at least for now. I've also recently become a citizen journalist. I walk around the neighborhood, and I couldn't help but start documenting what's going on. The serious public safety and health issues in our downtown and public spaces. Over the past month or so, I have repeatedly witnessed and have photos of several incidents of public urination, the aftermath of public defecation, littering, open drug use, public drinking, and other unsafe behavior in areas like Bronson Park, Arcadia Creek Festival Place, and the downtown mall area, which always reeks like urine. Should probably do something about that. Sorry, I lost my spot. On the 18th, I actually had to call the cops while I was on that walk, because in Arcadia Creek Park, there's a drugged out young lady naked in the creek. So that was an interesting morning. That was before 8 a.m. or right around then. That park's always nasty. I went and swept a bunch of broken glass stuff up there today, cleaned up a bunch of cigarette butts and other trash and rubber gloves and bloody bandages from the biomat place and stuff. And then as someone that's been documenting this, I've had to put up with threats of physical violence from people that don't like me taking pictures of what's going on. And I've almost been attacked by a dog over here at the park because they didn't have a hold of the leash. The guy just barely grabbed a hold of it in time. And so since then, I've actually started having to carry a firearm with me when I walk around the city. I've been told by a young heroin-addicted lady and then confirmed by one of the lady officers in the city that I'm not to go up by MLK Park because it's very dangerous for me. These are not isolated or minor incidents. They're ongoing public safety and health concerns. They're also violation of existing city codes concerning public urination, defecation, all those things I listed. I'm asking the City Commission to take concrete action to enforce these codes and ordinances, to include enforcing park curfews. They don't do that at Arcadia Park either. There's people sleeping in there, and it's supposed to be closed between 10 and 7. Restore public order and make our public spaces safe, clean, and accessible for everyone. I've had to step over homeless people in the morning right downtown on the sidewalk. It's not okay. Thank you for your time and attention. I urge you guys to take prompt action about this.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, I'm Chris Chatterton. I live on Waite Street, and I live right near my personal roundabout. I want to take a few more minutes of your time to thank you all for the time that you've spent reading our emails, engaging with us in conversation, listening to our concerns about the roundabouts that were placed there. I realize that this is not one of the major problems this city has, and you still took your time to listen patiently and kindly to our concerns. So I just want to thank all of you and the other city staff that resulted in the removal of those roundabouts. And our neighborhood kind of looks like it did before, and it feels a lot better. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Marina Bueva. I live on Chevy Chase between the two roundabouts. My husband and I have resided there for 52 years. And in those 52 years, there's never been an accident on Chevy Chase. So I just want to thank all of you for being so attentive to our issue. And I thought I would just give you a chance to see my face, because I've written several letters to all of you. So again, thank you very much for listening to us and saving about 20 to 30 trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Adams, and I do reside in the city, and I'm also a member of Isaac, and that's actually why I'm here before you today, is to invite you to this Saturday's Walk, Run, Roll. If you haven't had an invitation already, you can always go to Isaac's website, and also help us to celebrate some awesome leaders on September 6th right here at Spring Valley Park. This year, our Servant Leader of the Year is Chris Roberts. Woman of the Year, Deacon Sandra Bevilamo. Leader of Equity, Patrice Griffin. Lifetime Achievement Award, Steve Barber. Beloved Community Work Award, Footprints of the Blueprint, Black and Brown on the Ground Against Gun Violence Family Team. Clergy of the Year, Pastor Lindsey E. Bell. And Isaac Leader of the Year, Reverend Jerry Duggins. So if you haven't had an opportunity to sign up, please do, and join us this Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Tina. I live on Lake Street next to our last natural green space, Lake Stockbridge to John. I have been fighting for almost 8 years now to get this last natural green space out of the mayor and the city's destructions list. But we are in a floodplain area. This is the lowest point in Kalamazoo. We are the bow of Kalamazoo. Isn't that what you said, James Baker? Why would you guys keep building in the bow of Kalamazoo? Why would you build in the bow without fixing the infrastructure underneath the streets? With the last 2 floods we just had, I believe it was August 19th and August 12th, James Baker was on the news. He said, oh, well, the storm drains can't take that much water that fast. That's at both times. 2 different times of flooding. We only got 1 inch of rain. Why don't you guys clean these things out? Why don't you fix the piping underneath? Why don't you do something? Do something for the city of Kalamazoo, not just keep making it worse for everybody. You know, the recent nearby developments like KVCC has caused a significant increase in specifically the lack of infrastructure upgrades to handle the increased workloads and sanitary sewers and storm sewers. All we want is dry streets like every other neighborhood has. But now you're gonna build over there again. Stockbridge floods in people's basements, right over by the DHS building. So when you build that up 5 feet higher than the ground, and you cover all that contaminated land by putting dirt on top of it, that contamination is gonna go to the groundwater. Just like when we flood, the sewers go to the groundwater. And the groundwater is where our drinking water comes from, if I understand that right. That's why I don't drink the city's water. So when are you guys gonna do anything? You know, it's time to vote, guys. November 4th, it's time for change. Some of these people up here, one of them has a lot of conflict of interest going on. For our mayor is the vice president of a nonprofit, Lift Foundation. He has deep power in the world of public housing. What do we have an issue with in Kalamazoo? Mental health, public housing, and nowhere for anybody to get help for their mental health. Why do we have these problems if you're the mayor and you're the presidents of these boards and you do all this? You know, you're also on the Kalamazoo County Public Housing Board. Makes a lot of conflict of interest. You know, you have families out on the streets living. Families, people, all over the place, sleeping anywhere they can. But when you build an affordable apartment, you only put them on the bad areas where it's contaminated land, flooding, or something. What, you're saying people aren't good enough to live in a nice area because they're poorer than anybody else? You know, guys, November 4th, get out and vote. Chris Glasser for mayor of Kalamazoo. We need everybody to get out and vote. We need change. Mr. Anderson, you've been here 6 years. And for 8 years of them 6 years, when you were on the commission, I have asked you over and over and begged you over and over to fix your infrastructure. People shouldn't flood like we do, but you never did nothing. Drew Duncan for City Commission. Come on, guys, we need change. November 4th.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hello, everyone. Chris Glasser, live in the east side neighborhood of the city. Last week, I attended a community workshop regarding finding our next city manager, and I had wrongly assumed that the event was sponsored by the city. I figured this was something the city would do. After all, they hold listening sessions for things like Imagine Kalamazoo, and apparently they do listening sessions for roundabouts, but not for finding our next city manager. Apparently what I was told is they reached out to some hand-selected community organizers and talked to them, but didn't hold a actual public meeting. So hats off to the organizers that decided to do their own public session. 2 of them actually last week. Hats off to Isaac, the NAACP, El Concilio, and the other organizations that helped do what the city refused to do. Because this is a big deal. I've been telling people, as someone who is running for mayor, that the selection of the next city manager is almost more important than the mayor or the commissioners, because that is the person who is running the city day to day. You guys meet in your committee of the whole and business meetings, but this person is here every single day actually running the city. So personally, I want to see as much citizen involvement in that process as possible, not less. So hats off to Isaac, the NAACP, El Concilio, and to the city. You can do better.
Thank you. Next, please.
The national issues and Trump is getting out of control. The city needs to protect its citizens. We appreciate the individuals who have shown solidarity about ICE and the 287G bill, but there needs to be a collective agreement. And Chief Davis Boysen's email claiming ignorance of the agreement 287G is disingenuous, because in rare cases, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, may be contacted to take custody. So KDPS does have contact with those agencies, and the fact that he feigned ignorance about what that means is very concerning. And the community needs some kind of transparency when it comes to when KDPS has contact with ICE. As we see, we cannot trust the president. We cannot trust the people who are in charge right now. And to the person who spoke about the houseless community downtown, that is going to take resources. That's going to take housing first initiatives. That's going to take programs that obviously David Anderson is not interested in implementing, because he is worried about the money. He's following the money trail, as we clearly see. And then we see him at the Republican Party. So we've been saying this all along. To me, it was no surprise. I haven't even bothered to share the Facebook post on honestly, because it's a waste of my time. We knew this all along. We knew where you stood. And you just wanted to play in people's faces, but I hope people are seeing you for who you are and what you're doing to harm people in this community, because you have a real impact on this community, just as the city manager has impact. And you guys have been trying to keep that process from the community. It is a rush process. It is too fast. And Isaac, El Concilio, and other organizations felt the need to do their own listening session, because the city rushed their listening session and decided to exclude community members. Okay, so it's not even going that well here. And the arena, of course, like, do I need to talk about the arena and like the downtown, the homeless people downtown, they need resources. And for people, yes, people walk over homeless people. They get to look down on homeless people because they do not understand that they are weaponized in the media. Just as we saw Belkama with second wave media talking about people are coming from other cities. Well, you know what? KDPS is also sending people to other cities, and we're calling it some reuniting with your family BS. But in reality, KDPS has, and there's, right, they have the right to tell somebody, hey, there's more resources over there, just like other cities are saying. So to make an excuse about people coming here and trying to find resources and exacerbating the mission, or whatever, the mission is crap. But anyway, exacerbating the resources is a lie, because we should have this in place already. And the real housing crisis lies in the ALIS statistics. The real housing crisis, the people who are unseen, that are living in their cars, that are doubled up, those are the real, that is the systemic part of it. Yes, we see the people in the streets who need more than just housing. They need wraparound services, and we need to grow our empathy, because Trump has declared war on homeless people, and we need to do more than just sit around and say, well, other communities should worry about their homeless people. Why are they sending them over here? We should have already implemented these resources and been the innovators of change, so that we could work with other communities to send people back in the right way, not just pretending like we're going to send people back, when the families, it takes more than just sending people back. Okay, families need support, time, effort, energy, lots of other things besides saying we're going to reunite you with your family. Here's a bus ticket, because all of these cities are doing the same thing right now to homeless people.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shona Espinoza, and we all know nobody wants to be unhoused. Nobody wants to be out on the street. There are so many reasons why people are on the street. Rent is too damn high. Some health issues. Something has happened in their family, or something happened to them. But is that fair, because somebody's had a tragedy or something happened to them, that they have to fall through the cracks and be out on the streets? People are coping, and a lot of people, the only way they know how to cope is to drink, do drugs, or do other things. Yes, we have a lot of resources here, but how many barriers are put in place to make sure that they're not receiving the services that they need? ISK is a big mental piece that plays a part in this community, but it's full of shit. Because at the end of the day, they're not really out here to do the job. They're just out here saying, hey, we have mental health services. Hey, we make rides with the police. Hey, we go downtown. But how many of them are actually taking the time to do those services? So many people at ISK, what do their caseloads look like? Why is one person having to service over 100 people? That makes no sense. That's a rush job. That's not even making sure that they get the services that they need. And by the time they actually get down to the reason, a lot of people are like, oh, I can't deal with this. They're mentally too gone, or there's so much going on. Mental health is real. Mental health should be taken extremely serious. It's a long process that people need. It should be taken seriously and do what's needed, not a quick fix. Because you do a quick fix and you put them back out there, the same thing is going to happen time and time again. And we see this happening over and over. People need mental health wraparound services to make sure they have the things that they need, so they can have a job that's stable, so they can find housing and get up off the street, but also have wraparound services to help them know how to do this. Some people are so far gone or been out on the street for so long, or had so much tragedy happen to them or trauma, that they're not functioning like a normal person would because of all these things that are going on. And if you have parents going through things like this, can you imagine how hard it is for the children that are involved in trying to do their best to live? Do better. We have a mayor that sits on multiple boards: housing, mental health, the Foundation of Excellency. And what is going on when we have a mayor that is allowing these things that are happening? We have a housing crisis in Kalamazoo. We have a mental health crisis in Kalamazoo. But we have a mayor that sits on these boards. That is a red flag. That is something that should not be happening. If he is on these boards, he should be the one making sure that things are getting done. Cross your T's, dot your I's, ask for help. But you're not. That is so wrong. The election is coming up in November. And just like your endorsement was blocked with the Democratic Party, we're going to keep on pushing to make sure you're not reelected, because you're the cancer to this city. You're one of the big things that is wrong with this city. You want money and we want help. Do better.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening?
Hi there, my name's Tori. I live in Comstock. This is my first time being in this building. It's a very beautiful building. This is also my first time joining one of your meetings. I found the lengthy Christian invocation kind of uncomfortable and disturbing because of separation of church and state. But I do value the sentiments that the person was speaking to. We have a web of community that needs to be valued, needs to be loved and cherished. I'm concerned about increased ICE presence in Kalamazoo, and I am concerned about the threat of increased immigration enforcement in Kalamazoo. I understand that enrollment in schools in Kalamazoo is down, and that's attributed to the chilling effects of immigration in the news and in our streets. The Michigan House recently passed a stripped budget. There are a lot of things to be concerned about in that budget. For example, I'm a state government employee and I'm in leadership with my union. We received notice from our union this afternoon after the lovely holiday weekend that the state of Michigan is initiating layoff procedures. The 30-day notice is a formality, I admit, but it doesn't inspire confidence in my job and my future in Michigan. The biggest aspect I'd like to draw your attention to, though, is the Republican budget decreases the funding in police and prison allocations. This is a bizarre change of pace. Decreased funding for law enforcement is the opposite of what you would expect from a conservative lawmakers. And we do know that the House budget was pushed through by the Republicans. So the only way I can reconcile that information, that 180-degree turn, is to assume that Michigan leadership plans to offset budget losses by committing to ICE, by signing contracts and escalating immigration crackdowns. Immigrants are a critical part of our community. If I can't interest you in the humanity of keeping children with their families, of not terrorizing and uprooting communities, maybe the massive threat of economic devastation can interest you. I work in agriculture. The people are scared. I look at plants all day. They're scared of seeing me, some plant bug nerd out there. That breaks my freaking heart. But it's not about me, right? Immigrants deserve to be here. No one is illegal on stolen land. I'm asking you to formally and vocally commit to rejecting ICE, to rejecting 287G agreements. I am asking for your commitment to make Kalamazoo a sanctuary city, and I cannot oversell this. I really need Kalamazoo to verbally, vocally, explicitly reject 287G agreements. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi Hi there, my name is Raina Skeels, and I reside in the Eastwood neighborhood, but I'm not here for residential today. I am here with Discover Kalamazoo, sharing some fun events that are happening this week. So does this sheet look familiar to you? Okay. Wonderful, because you can sign up to get this to your email every single week, and it has a complete listing of all the fun things that are happening. So of the 4 that I had chosen to share with you, I don't know if some of you have noticed that the trolley is running downtown. That's the Salvador trolley that will be running throughout the Brush the Block event that started today and will be going through the 7th. And I have driven by several of the sites already, and we have so many wildly talented people here that are very creative, making this a vibrant place to live. So for that, I'm very grateful. Also, there is free admission at the Kalamazoo Institute of Arts on Thursday. And Kalamazoo has an annual Scottish Fest that's starting on the 4th and Kindleberger Park over in Comstock. And I know many of you are very excited for tailgate season. That leads us to WMU's first home game here versus North Texas, starting at 3:30 on Western's campus. So thank you very much for your time. I hope some of you are able to check out some of the very fun things happening here in our community.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners, Vice Mayor, Mayor, City Manager. Thank you for this opportunity. I just have a couple announcements that I want to share with everyone. I'm Jonathan with the NACD. So want to kind of piggyback off of the Brush the Block. Thank you for pubbing that, and we're going to be having our event this Thursday. So I'm inviting you guys out. The skeletons are going to be there. So if you like listening to live music, please come to that. And then we're going to reveal our new mural that we were so graciously gifted by our community partners. So please come out to that. That's from 6 to 8 at the NACD. Shortly, next week is going to be Kalamazoo Climate Coalition is going to have a safe and sustainable living event from 5:30 to 7:30, September 11th, and that's going to be open to the public. So please govern yourselves accordingly for that. I have a lot of things. Kalamazoo Event Center Community Info Session. That next session is going to be September 23rd. I'm encouraging all Kalamazoo City residents and especially Northside residents to come to learn about the possible opportunities and job opportunities that the event center is going to bring. Again, we are one of their key partners, and so we want to make sure that every opportunity is being met to our residents. Right now, we have our basic electrical class cohort accepting applications right now until September 19th. So if you want to learn how to work with the wires and the light fixtures and all those things, I plan on doing that myself. You can definitely sign up until September 19th, and the application is closed then. So next thing is, I've been getting a lot of emails regarding some of the air quality issues regarding on the north side. This is nothing new, everybody knows about it, but I'm still being educated within myself. But at least I'm a person that's solution oriented, and I am just wondering if the city is considering if we can possibly help us with air purifiers to some of our Northside residents, just how you guys were able to provide some of the cameras through KDPS and some of the water filtration systems as well. So that can be a conversation at a later date, but just to put that in your head now, just so we can get that conversation going, because again, this is a big problem. Again, I've been brought to this by many people with the air quality, and it's bad. A lot of people are kind of experiencing some health issues, and I'm not the one to kind of bicker about it, but I would like to go move forward and have a solution for it. So if we can have a conversation, if I can speak to someone about it, that would be great. I think that is it. I may have more later, but thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the chambers who'd like to take advantage of this public comment period this evening?
Hi there. I do live in the city, and I wanted to also address the email that was brought up earlier by one of the other speakers. We were forwarded this email, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't read much past the first paragraph in which Chief Boyson said that he did not know what a 287G agreement was. That's, to me, pretty concerning, to say the least, and it doesn't really inspire any confidence in whatever else was in the email. I'll admit I'm still learning about a lot of things, and I was not born in Kalamazoo, but this is my home now, and this is my first time addressing this commission. Many others have been showing up a lot longer, speaking a lot louder, and demanding more. And it seems that I'm learning it falls on deaf ears unless you're writing a check for the latest affordable housing project, which I have other opinions on, but I'm going to use my time for this today. It really shows that, from someone who is, again, still learning about everything going on in the community, a real lack of community trust. It kind of seems like they're a lot of excuses being used that don't even really apply to the things that we're talking about, and most of all being money. And that's really not something that we're, even really talking about when it comes to the things that we are demanding, such as the 287G agreement and making Kalamazoo a sanctuary city. We're just interested in protecting our neighbors and protecting the people who live in this city, which is supposed to be the job of this commission. So I'm not going to use up all my time today, but that is just what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the chambers who would like to make a comment this evening? All right, seeing no one, I want to thank everyone that took the time and made the effort to come down and take advantage of the public comment period. And next on our agenda is public hearings. So I would now like to open a public hearing to receive comments on a resolution establishing a commercial redevelopment district at 227 West Michigan Avenue. Manager Risma, is there a staff presentation on this item?
Yeah, we have our development manager, Jamie McCarthy, coming up. She'll be giving a brief presentation on this, and while you're up here, you might as well take care of the next one, too. Thanks, Jamie.
Welcome, Jamie.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and City Manager. I have just some brief information about both of these items before you take comment and vote this evening. So to begin with, we have what we're introducing as a commercial redevelopment district. The other one here is a commercial rehabilitation district. I'm going to go over some of the differences and similarities between these two tax abatements. Clerk Borling, oh, looks like that's working. Great. So again, today the first step is a public hearing to create the district itself. This is really just going to enable the ability for a project to come forward and put in an application. So it's really just a step one. It's establishing this district. So we're going to talk high level today, but I do want to talk a bit about the projects themselves, because when we bring forward these applications, there is a project in mind. So I'll give you a high level overview of these projects. But assuming that an application comes in, you're going to get a lot more information. You're going to hear a lot more about the specific tax information about each of these projects. And also we'll talk a little bit more about some of these projects and how they came about, or we spoke about them in June.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Tell him to back up, because he comes over here intimidating citizens, and I let him know, and he comes and tries to intimidate me. And that's not going to work. That's not how you build community trust.
So this first site is the Michigan Avenue Courthouse. Again, we spoke about this in June, but just to remind you all, this is currently vacant. It's privately owned. It housed the county courthouse just a couple of years ago, and we have an opportunity to see it revitalized and reused. It would maintain its historic character, though. So this is a historic redevelopment of just around 100,000 square feet. And it would come back as just over 120 hotel rooms with a restaurant, lobby bar, and the plan here would be that the exterior of the building, that structure, would really remain intact. It would look a lot like you see today. The plan would be to use some limited on-site parking, really take advantage of some of the existing ramps, parking ramps that are around the city today, and add in some of the valet services right near the front of the building there, but really maintaining that character, taking advantage of some of the tax credits that go along with that historic preservation, and really keeping this kind of gem in the center of downtown. As I mentioned, it's part of this transformational brownfield package of projects that city staff and the development team came to you all and spoke about in June. It's tied together with 3 different projects. This Michigan Ave Courthouse, or MAC, along with 2 other projects that are residential projects. So in the next public hearing, we're going to talk about the Spiritflex building, and then included in this package deal is 619 Porter, another residential project. In June, we talked about how we're bringing together the and leveraging the benefits of a brownfield plan and a lot of the state incentives that go along with a transformational brownfield plan, and then adding in some of our local and state tax abatements. And so that's what we're coming here to you today, and bringing forward those abatements that we had talked about in June, and really just starting that process. So I want to talk a little bit about what the district looks like. It is a smaller footprint that includes the 227 Michigan parcel, so bound by West Michigan Avenue, Rose Street, Academy Street to the south, and then North Church Street. It is zoned D2, so it has downtown zoning, very similar to D1, so looking for that active downtown retail kind of zoning, a little bit more flexible in D2, but that commercial, restaurant, hotel use is included in this district. And then to speak a little bit about Public Act 255 and where that comes from. It's really meant as a tool, it's a state tax incentive, really as a tool to help core communities like Kalamazoo offset these upfront costs that a rehab of this nature, this historic building, is going to have some significant costs going in. Taking what are courthouses right now and creating them into hotel rooms, giving it a new life, giving it a commercial life to continue that downtown use. And to really help get a commercial project like this off the ground, we have this tax tool that we can help sort of freeze the taxes for now or offer that tax incentive so the project can get operational, keep those taxes sort of low, they can get sort of debt and operations under control, and then for that relatively short time, they can see that benefit, but then it pops right back onto the tax roll, so that really the investment for the community is that long term, they're gonna see that tax base grow, and that really is what the benefit to the community is. In addition to the jobs that go along with this project, and that activation that happens at the core of the downtown is what we're really looking for. So to talk a little bit more about how the abatement would work, like I said, it's really 2 parts that you see here in blue. Creating the district is step 1. Once that is created, the property owners in this district then can come forward and apply for a certificate. A little bit more about what does the abatement benefit look like. There are 2 different applications that a project could come forward with. We don't have the application in hand, so we don't know exactly what the tax benefit would look like. we'll be able to share that with you in the near future. But it's either for a new facility application, it would look like a 50% tax abatement, or under a rehab project, the taxable value is frozen at a value prior to the improvement. So you're still paying taxes at a sort of lower base value. You get that benefit for a range of 1 to 12 years is the term, and then the property taxes go back up to the higher range after the certificate expires. So that's that second point there. The certificate application would come back before the City Commission for you all to review, and then you'd make this recommendation on a 1 to 12 year length of abatement. 12 years being that maximum that's allowed under the state law. I just want to point out that final approval is the responsibility of the local unit of government. You would then issue all of the certificates, and that is filed with the State Tax Commission. I'm happy to take any questions before we roll into the next abatement.
Commissioners, questions on this part of this? Yeah, Commissioner Pradel.
Thanks, Jamie, for being here and for the presentation. Just had a question. When you were talking about that point about the certificate application and the terms of 1 to 12 years, is there, and apologize if this has already been shared with us, but is there a target number of years that's necessary for the financing to work for this particular project, or a desired number of years?
Yes, so we will certainly be looking at what's needed, looking at some financial need from the project. So we'll be able to look at that when we get an application. They're going to be giving that information with their application. We're also looking at, what amount of investments taking place and how that project itself aligns with some of our city master plans, some of our city needs. So we'll kind of evaluate all of that when we get an application that comes in.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Other questions, Commissioners? Yeah, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jamie. Good to see you. Just a couple of questions. I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. So this county building Kalamazoo County building is on the historic preservation list, correct? As we say, it's a historic preservation, so does it have the certificate to go with it, or are we just calling it historic? How do we keep the buildings and the architecture that is here within the city of Kalamazoo here? So what would be in place to make sure that they don't tear this building down? Have they taken those steps?
Yes, so it is a historic resource, and those tax credits that the project would be seeking will have the State Historic Preservation Office involved that would be in charge of maintaining those historic rules.
Okay, thank you. And I know you're going to talk about a couple different spots here, but I guess I'll just go ahead and ask this one. So for the different districts that you guys are proposing, and the one district with the different buildings, is that all by one developer?
This is a single parcel, so we're proposing a relatively small, if you will, district. This was a request by this particular landowner or property owner to create this district for this one project.
Okay, that's right.
If
Just
that
for this
answers your
particular
question.
Yeah, that does answer my question. So then is the 261, is that also by the same developer or a different one?
It's the same team or set of projects that are all part of that transformational brownfield plan. So same entity.
Okay, same developer, yes.
Yeah, I think it's a different LLC technically is
Okay,
what's
but they're
on the
all under the
application,
same
but they're all under the same
under
umbrella.
that
is
same
my
umbrella.
understanding, Yeah.
Okay, very good. And would that also be the same for the 619 Porter?
Yeah, correct. I think they're all a shared group.
Thank you for that. So it looks like both of these, and I'm kind of talking about this one here too, because my questions kind of go with all of them. So it looks like all of these buildings wouldn't be new facilities, correct? These would be rehab projects. Is there something on 619 Porter?
I think most of these buildings will be a large amount of rehab. I don't know exactly, depending on the definitions in the statute, if any of them might qualify as new, or if a certain amount of the building is new construction. I'll have to kind of wait and see what those, we'll have to wait and see what those applications look like.
Okay, awesome. And then another question, do we know right now what those values, taxable values are right now on those buildings? Have they done that assessment, or would that be something we'd be able to find at BSNA to find out what the taxable value is right now?
Yeah, that's correct. They all have, any current taxable value would be something the assessor would have available publicly through the BSNA database that you mentioned.
So then let me ask this. If we go off the taxable value of what the building is now, I would assume that there wouldn't be another appraiser that would go out there. Would the building be appraised, you know, to really find out, is that really the true taxable value? I guess I'm kind of wondering, when was the last time these buildings were appraised? Have they been sold recently, or have they been under the same owner for a while?
It's my understanding that it is the responsibility with the local unit of government that they would rely on the assessor in their last assessed value. And they're going to be looking at the land value, they're going to be looking at the building value, as you mentioned, so there'll be a breakdown that'll be done by the city.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Other questions at this time, commissioners? All right, thank you. Ms. McCarthy, go ahead.
All right. Well, let me talk about this second site as well. Okay. So we're moving just north along Kalamazoo Avenue here, and we're looking at the Spearflex building, which is a current building here that's used as office. And as you know, office uses are down a lot, and we have the opportunity to see this building converted into a residential space, which is certainly a need that we have throughout the community. This is about 51,000 square feet that would be converted into 57 new residential apartment units, using the existing surface parking that's on site, so they have the ability to use parking and not be creating new parking. Again, this is also part of that transformational brownfield plan, and so this is located again in the downtown. I want to mention that the Downtown Economic Growth Authority is another sort of taxing district or capture district located in this downtown area that has reviewed and approved the brownfield tool here. So we do have their approval on the brownfield tool in these areas. And I just want to talk a bit about this district. So again, it is it includes 261 East Kalamazoo, just that footprint of that parcel. So bound by Kalamazoo Avenue, Pitcher Street, North Edwards to the west there, and then it's the railroad is the northern boundary there. This one has downtown zoning as well. It happens to be D3, so really promotes a mix of uses here, anything residential, commercial, or civic type use. So we have that conversion from office to residential is supported. PA 210 is primarily used for really encouraging that rehab of our underused commercial properties for either commercial or multifamily residential. So that is really how this project could qualify for this type of a rehab, is that latter use as housing. And it's really important to think about this tool as a tool the state has created that allows communities like Kalamazoo to help offset both the higher cost of rehabbing aging commercial structures like this building in our downtown, in our core neighborhoods, that often have those hurdles we all know about, those higher costs when you compare them to greenfield development that might be outside of a city like Kalamazoo. So it's helping us offer and incentivize that infill, that brownfield type costs that might otherwise encourage a developer to pick a lower cost site. And oftentimes, something that we might not think about is that these sites can carry a lot higher tax burden once they've been improved as well. So again, just for this shorter period of this tax abatement, we're able to offer a little bit more competitiveness with some of these greenfield sites out in more suburban areas. This is pretty similar, but I do want to point out some of the differences between the rehab district versus the redevelopment districts. They're pretty small, but this one only has sort of one application option. It's the taxable value is frozen again at that value that it is today before the improvements. So that would be frozen over the life of the certificate. The certificate length here is 1 to 10 years. Again, that certificate would come before the commission again to be reviewed. You're going to get more information about what's the existing taxable value, what we think the improvement on the property is going to look like. You're going to see that tax differential, and you're going to see a recommendation for what the applicant is looking for, and you're going to see a real breakdown on that. And then in this one, it's a little bit different. The final approval is done by the State Tax Commission. So we, the city staff, the clerk's office is sending this recommendation that's approved by this body onto the State Tax Commission. They're issuing the approval and the certificates at the state level. And that gets then passed through. We end up implementing it here through our taxing bodies, but it is a state approval. And I'm happy to take questions on this one as well.
Commissioners, questions specific to this project. Commissioner Pradel.
Thanks again, Jamie. I apologize if this question seems a bit minutia, but in the first example, you were talking about the term could be 1 to 12 years, and in this one, I noticed it's 1 to 10. Is there a reason for that difference, why it's capped at 10 years versus 12 years like the other one?
I don't know why the statute several decades later came through a little bit differently.
Yeah, it's confusing, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I could ask around. I don't
I'm
have
curious,
the answer.
but no, it's not a huge deal. Thank you.
Other questions? Commissioner Decker.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks again, Jamie. Well, first I'll say I'm always excited when there's new residential units that are coming on board. As we heard before, there's a lack of housing. So my question is, we already know that it's going to be converted to 57 residential units, correct? What type of units are those going to be? What kind of income are individuals going to have? And is any of that information required within the application process when it comes for the commission?
It's a great question. Whether it's required or not, there is a state application that I'm not very familiar with. It is information that I imagine the city will have at hand that we can bring forward to you all. I know that just in tandem with this project overall, that the applicant is working on an affordable housing agreement with the city, and so I think wrapped into all of that, we will have that information and be able to share with you what the rental breakdown will look like within the project.
Okay, so remind me, so that will come later on, after everything is approved and say if the state approves it and whatnot. I'm pretty sure our city staff is looking at what the city needs and the amount of housing that we need, units, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, lofts, studios, places that don't charge $1,500. So I just, definitely want to just kind of put out there, just, make sure I know we always are, but I have to reiterate, just make sure we're always thinking about that, thinking about our individuals that are coming up and may get a job at this event center and may want to live closer to this area, to not have to have a car to go to work. So just hopefully the developers, that entire entity that is working on all 3 of these rehabs really take that into account and just really think about that. So, and I know they will, but I just have to say it. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Other questions, commissioners, at this point? All right, thank you so much. Seeing no questions from commissioners, now is the opportunity for public comment specific to this item. There are a 3-minute limit for this kind of public comment. If you'd like to comment on this particular hearing, please come forward, state your name and whether you live in the city. Thank you. Seeing no one, I will now close the public hearing. The recommended action is a motion to adopt the resolution, commissioners. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Praedel.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Discussion, commissioners. Commissioner Praedel.
Sure, Mayor. I think it's pretty exciting to see somebody willing to step forward to make a $100 million investment on these 3 development projects. I particularly think it's exciting because these are creative uses of historic structures. And you think about it, I mean, the likelihood of these 3, especially the courthouse and especially on Porter, really is likely it would be vacant, blighted, or demoed. And the likelihood would probably be that they would sit there for decades more before something else happened or just completely demolished. It breaks my heart when you see these beautiful buildings that something could be made out of. And I know just from my day job, I've seen different research that shows just a typical home. If you demolish a home, it would take, even if it was the most energy efficient, it would take something like 7 to 9 years to recoup the carbon footprint impact of demolishing, hauling it away, taking it to a landfill. And this is really exciting to see that these are going to be actual creative, productive uses, including housing and hotel capabilities for our community, which we need both. So I think this is really exciting. I also think it's really neat and innovative to see, we've seen in other big cities where there's the trend to convert office spaces to housing because that's where the need is in communities, and we're seeing the same need in our communities. So the fact that there's that responsiveness to the need that our community needs so desperately right now is a great. So I'm very supportive.
Thank you, Commissioner Praedel. Other discussion? All right, see, when I just want to clarify for us, just reminding us, and of course anyone who's paying attention here, is that this is not approving a project. All we are doing with this hearing is we are establishing a district, which then gives the opportunity for a developer could take advantage of having a building in that district to apply for the benefits that might accrue to that redevelopment due to the fact that it's in a district. And it's interesting, we're going to have to, I'm going to talk about both of them, but we're going to have to take separate actions here. So that's just what we're doing. We're not approving rents, we're not approving number of units or size of units or anything like that. There'll be multiple steps where those discussions will continue to happen. And so many pieces of this, that have to continue to move forward for this project to occur. And so a couple other things I just want to say about this is that, we don't create here the state statutes that give developers these kinds of opportunities. These are state-created opportunities with their own little nuances, and who the heck knows why one is 1 to 10 years and another slightly different, almost exactly the same one, is 1 to 12 years. Who knows how they got written that way? But these, we don't set, state taxing policy, we just live with it. And then we try to determine those opportunities that are given to us that are meant to incentivize development, do we want to take advantage of it or not? It's, we can't say, well, we'll tweak it, do it this way and that way. Here it is, here's how it comes, you want that or not. And what we're doing is just doing the first step here of just creating the district for that to occur. Now I want to just change the topic here just a little bit. We've heard about brownfield tax credits. Now we've been hearing about brownfield tax credits. That's one of the small number of tools we get to incentivize development, which allows an increase in tax value to then generate revenue based on that increased value, which then can offset the additional costs of a development on a blighted site or with environmental issues or that sort of thing. So that's the tool. There's brownfield and this tool that kind of come together to try to address those extra costs to help urban core centers, for the most part, have their older buildings and blighted sites be redeveloped rather than sitting like they are. In addition to that, we've heard this terminology, and it's related to this one. Why are there 3 different sites, Commissioner Decker? You know, why are those all involved? Because of the category that this is in. This is not just the kind of the hope here and the application that has already been at least initially approved at the state is this is a transformational brownfield project. So that's different from your everyday run-of-the-mill brownfield projects, and these are limited in the state of Michigan, so it's capped. There's so many transformational brownfield project opportunities that come along, and this is really the first one for Kalamazoo, and who knows, maybe the only one for a while. That transformational component of that brownfield allows some additional collection of some tax revenue to help projects happen that otherwise would not again. So that's the transformational piece. But in order to cross that threshold, the transformational, based on the size of our community, it's got to involve so much investment. I think in this case, we're probably well over $100 million of investment in Kalamazoo, but that's why there's 3 separate projects. One alone would not meet, reach that bar to get that category of transformational. So already this has been proposed to the state, the concept, and it made it, through that initial vetting to be a transformational brownfield project for Kalamazoo. So that's why we're in this kind of special category here for that. There are other cities around that have had, there's a capped number of these are made available. Other cities, Grand Rapids to our north, has taken advantage of a couple different transformational project development, opportunities, and in other places around the state, certainly on the east side of the state. So this is new. The transformational portion of this is new for us. Once again, all we're doing for 2/3 of this project, just 2 of the sites tonight in these 2 actions, is just creating a district, a commercial redevelopment district in the first case, and a commercial rehabilitation district in the second case, all defined by state statute. So a very first step. So, why is this important to us? Well, great cities do have great downtowns. We're hoping that will be continued investment in our downtown. It's not good for downtown to have a large building, which is privately owned, as all of these are. City doesn't own any of these buildings. To be reused, to be vibrant in some way, to be contributing to the economy, to providing jobs, to all the kinds of things that we want for a vibrant city, these kinds of investments. And these are the tools that are given to us, to help that happen. But just this action tonight is not ensuring in any way this is a done deal. There are so many more steps that have to be gone through, including another very careful evaluation by the state that grants these opportunities, these transformational opportunities, that will include many, many, many details, including, does this project make sense? Is there sufficient resources to develop this thing at the end of the day? So, and it will come, other steps will come to us here as well. Some of them go to the state, but some of them come here. So this is just like one little piece. It's not at the beginning of it. There's been a lot of work that's happened just to get us to this point, but frankly, by the time everything gets added together, and presuming we continue to make positive steps in terms of everything lining up, all the paperwork signed, all the financing in order, ready to actually start work. We'll be lucky if that's all done, honestly. The developer might tell me a little different, by a year from now. So this is a slow-moving action with multiple steps in it, and this is just one initial piece for part of that bigger project. So anyway, sometimes it will be portrayed in the news. It's like, oh, they took the action, it's done, they're going to redevelop the court building, and that's great, okay? But I just want to provide a little caution and nuance and recognition that this is one piece, and this allows other things to occur, but multiple steps are still going to have to fall in place for all this to happen. Not the least of which, of course, is, building permits and site plan approvals and all the other things that have to happen on our end of things when you get over to community planning and economic development. So lots of steps. Kind of board steps and internal steps that city staff have to go through. Luckily, we do have a department in the city here that is sufficiently savvy when it comes to the brownfield opportunities and these kinds of things that we are capable of having a knowledgeable kind of interaction and discussion about what we want to do and what the city's position is going to be in that, understanding all that. And we also do contract with outside team members as well to give us that kind of third-party look representing the city's interests in it when we look at a project like this. So lots to come. I didn't mean to over-talk it or anything, but I think for me, it's just helpful recognizing whatever may be said about this, here's the action, it is to create the district. And so here we are talking about that. Commissioner Decker.
I guess I do want just a little bit of clarification. I think it's a great project, but so we are doing the resolution for the public hearings for 261 and 227. How does 619 Porter, what's going to be happening with that?
Commissioner Decker, so you might remember that we had a request come to us for 619 Porter to create a similar district with similar attributes, not exactly the same, called an NEZ, a Neighborhood Enterprise Zone, which is something we have done. So that is what is being sought for that particular location. So similar, not the same. We've done NEZs before on other projects. We did have a question come to us related to creating an NEZ there. We have not finalized that, so that still has to happen. It'll come to us, but different names, similar actions.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, and I didn't remember that, so I appreciate you, Mayor. I'm like, how does this 619 and how does that come into play? But that's already kind of been set into motion, so it's going to do the accumulation of all of the funds. Gotcha.
Yeah, good question. I appreciate that. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. I would now like to open a public hearing to receive comments on a resolution establishing a commercial rehabilitation district at 261 East Kalamazoo Avenue. So I'm not going to ask about a special presentation because I know that, we covered both of that, Ms. McCarthy did. So I will skip over a special presentation, but ask questions. Commissioner Decker. Are you all set? Okay. Any other questions, colleagues, on our second action? All right, seeing none, now is the opportunity for anybody here in the chambers to comment on this item, which is F2 under public hearings. If you'd like to make a comment, please come forward, state your name, whether you live in the city, and you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, I will now close the public hearing.
Excuse me, sorry I was so slow. I just want to say I'm very excited about this as someone that cares a lot about affordable housing, and I am glad for your question, Commissioner Decker, about affordability levels, and it's too early. But I know you always give payments in lieu of taxes, and I'm wondering if you can do that in addition. Okay. So this tax abatement is how the developer will be able to do the affordability and also the brownfield funding. So however it happens, I'm very, very pleased about this effort to increase the number of units, and of course rooting for mixed income with some really lower affordability levels included. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on this action? Seeing none, Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pradle?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice
Did
Mayor?
I?
Oh, no motion.
Was there? Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. I didn't ask for a motion, did I? Thank you for catching that, team. All right. So the recommended action, team, is a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll move that, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor Hess, and support by Commissioner Decker. Now we can have a roll call. Thank you, Clerk Borling.
Commissioner Pradle?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney? Yes. Commissioner Decker?
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next is the consent agenda. City Manager Risma.
The following items are presented this evening for approval. First is the approval of a contract supplemental and change order with Kent Communications Incorporated for utility billing, printing, mailing services, and postage in the amount of $105,000. Next is the approval of a contract with All Things Diverse for diversity, equity, and inclusion assessment in the amount of $129,800. Next is the approval of a contract extension with High Grade Materials for miscellaneous aggregates and road gravel, Group 1 only, in the amount of $154,150. Next is the approval of a support services agreement with the Central County Transportation Authority for a 3-year period beginning October 1, 2025, and ending on September 30, 2028, in the amount of $640,000 for the first year and increasing in each subsequent year. Next is the approval of a temporary access easement with Consumers Energy Company at the Water Treatment Plant Number 12, located at 3100 Stadium Drive. Next is the approval of the acquisition of easements at the following properties for the 2025 Pedestrian Safety Project Number 1 for the combined price of $1,207. 3414 Lovers Lane from Van Lawn Holdings for $603, and at 4740 Campus Drive from Western Michigan University by donation, and at 3601 Arboretum Parkway from Walden Woods Association for $604. Next is the approval of the amendments, or the minutes from the City Commission meetings on August 11 and August 18, 2025.
Thank you very much, Manager Risma. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 7 and authorize the city manager to sign all related documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, just one point of information on the consent agenda. On G1 in our packet on page 29, the memo states that the printing and mailing services cost is going to be $66,400,000. And so I imagine that's just an error, but I just wanted to make sure that that's noted in the record that obviously that's not the case.
That'd be a lot of printing. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't do it again? Well, I'm glad I've got the team with me here tonight. I'd be going off the rails. Okay. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 7, authorize the city manager. That's right, I did ask for that. That's what threw me off. Would you like to make the motion then, Commissioner Pradle?
So moved.
Thank you.
Support.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna fight over that? All right.
I'll take it.
Thank you. Supported by Commissioner Cooney. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker? Yes. Commissioner Pradle?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The items on the consent agenda are approved. Now we're down to the regular agenda. Manager Risma.
Item H1 is approval of the purchase of 808 Simpson Street from the Kalamazoo County Treasurer for the amount of $1,469.26.
Thank you, Manager Risma. Any report on this item?
We have staff available for questions, if there are any.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Decker? No? All right. Seeing none, now is the opportunity for anybody in the chambers to comment on this item. It is item H1. Seeing no comments, Commissioners, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion? So moved. Motion made by Commissioner Cooney. Supported by Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say one more unit of housing going up.
All right. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H2. City Manager Ritzma.
Approval of a contract with Balkema Excavating Incorporated for the F Avenue and 28th Street Transmission Water Main Project in the amount of $1,788,116.70.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. And is there a staff report on this item?
No, there isn't, and this and the next two items are on the regular agenda, given the dollar amounts for each of the contracts. So we have James Baker available if there are any questions for each of these coming up.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Questions, Commissioners, on this item? See none. Okay, is there anyone here in the chambers that would like to comment on that? This item is item H2. Seeing that there's no comments, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Commissioners, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Hess.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Pradel. Discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H3. Manager Ritzma.
Approval of a contract with ARC Purification LLC to provide Carb Pure wastewater powder activated carbon for the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $2,360,000.
Thank you. I know you've already commented on this one. Any questions or comments from Commission on this particular item? H3. Seeing none, now is the opportunity for anyone who is here in the chambers who would like to comment on item H3. Please come forward. State your name and whether you live in the city. Seeing no one, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion, Commissioners? Motion made by Commissioner Cooney. Supported by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? No? All right, seeing none, Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H4. City Manager Ritzma.
Approval of a contract with Hunter Prowl Company for the ML Avenue and 35th Street Transmission Water Main Project in the amount of $2,734,899.43.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Any questions from my colleagues up here on this item? Seeing none, is there anyone here in the chambers who would like to comment on this item? This is item H4. Seeing no one, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Discussion, Commissioners?
Mayor, given the large size of this, I was just noticing that there were 6 bids received, and this is the first time we've worked with this bidder. And it noted that there were, they followed up on a number of references, but it would be interesting to find out, what the experience was with the contractor at some point, being the first time we've worked with them.
Appreciate that. Commissioner Decker? All right. Great minds think alike. So, questions done. Let me see, have I asked for anyone here to comment on this? Okay, there we go. Item H4, comments? Seeing none, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Decker.
We have a motion on this.
We already have a motion on it?
Commissioner Wilson, supported by Vice Mayor Hess.
It's a team effort. As I always say, it's a team effort. Okay, so we already have a motion. Now, I'm ahead of myself that way, so now it's time to call the roll.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradle?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H5. City Manager Ritzma.
Adoption of an ordinance authorizing water supply system revenue bonds, Series 2025, in an amount not to exceed $22,100,000, and adoption of a notice of sale resolution.
All right, that's a big number. Is there a staff report on this item, Manager Ritzma?
There isn't, but our CFO, Steve Vicenzi's here to answer any questions, and I'll just talk about these next two real briefly. So each year, we have a capital program that is identified. It's built into the rates, and this is carrying out the funding piece to fund the projects that are being proposed in our water and wastewater supply systems. So these two items will begin the process for issuing those bonds.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Questions, comments, Commissioners? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this item? It's item H5. Seeing no one, the recommended action is a motion to adopt. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooney.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Pradle. Discussion, Commissioners? All right. Seeing none, Clerk Borling, please call a roll.
Commissioner Pradle?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney? Yes. Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H6. City Manager Ritzma.
Adoption of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of wastewater supply system revenue bonds, Series 2025, for an amount not to exceed $11,440,000, and adoption of a notice of sale resolution.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. Questions? Is there anyone here in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? Please come forward. It's item H6. Seeing no comments, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to adopt. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Decker.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Discussion, Commissioners? So I will just add a little something here relative to these last two actions. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money we're borrowing, but we are not taking this money and just spending it on things and it'll be gone. We are investing this borrowing in infrastructure for the city of Kalamazoo, for the future of the city of Kalamazoo. And in one case here, the one we just passed was for the water supply system revenue bonds, and the other, this one now is the wastewater supply system revenue bonds. So specifically tied to work in those two areas, and additionally, paying back this borrowing will be based on what we collect when we charge for water and sewer services. So these are revenue bonds that are based on the revenue from those enterprise funds. These are not bonds that are paid back through our general funds. Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradle?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Now we're down to reports and legislation. City Manager Ritzma.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a few items this evening. First, three personnel items that I want to raise attention to. First, I want to congratulate Adam Vosberg and Nicole Kling, who are in our Management Services Department. They've both been promoted. Adam to the Trust and Accounting Specialist, and Nicole Kling as our new Accountant one. So congratulations to them. And then our IT department, Information Technology Department, is in the process of hiring a digital workplace technician. And so this position will be really coordinating all the various computer programs, software that we have, and making sure things work together as they should, especially the Microsoft environment that we use here and a lot of our systems for accounting and other uses. So I just want to let you know that this is a new position that is much needed in our organization, and I appreciate IT for coming up and filling that. And then finally, it was referenced earlier, but the Kalamazoo Mural Festival is underway. In fact, the opening reception was at 7 o'clock, and our own Rebecca Kick, who's our Deputy City Manager, is there to kick that off. And so this festival would be going today through Sunday, September 7th. And there are services available, trolley services, which will be from 3 to 8 p.m. Tuesday to Thursday, and then 3 to 9 on Friday, and noon to 8 on Saturday. And many events, including a bike tour and a party at the Haymarket Plaza downtown. Those will be on Saturday, as well as a window painting project. So for more information, you can visit brushtheblock.com, and you'll see all of the activities that are planned for this week. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. Next, unfinished business, and I'm looking for an update on the city manager search process. Vice Mayor Hess.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we have an update. As of 10 o'clock today, we have 20 applications into Raftellus, our search firm. In response to the city manager search survey, we had 415 fill that out, and then in addition to the 2 community meetings that were held, we anticipate those to be up and put onto our website, kalamazooCity.org/CM search or /city manager search. Hopefully by the end of the week, Raftellus will have given us that information about the results of the surveys. In a timeline, I'd like to note there's a correction from the last update I gave. I said that on 10/27 we would announce our chosen candidate. That is not true. So applications are being accepted through 9/12 through September 12th, and will be beginning to be reviewed beginning on September 12th by Raftellus. On October 6th, there will be a closed session during our Committee of the Whole with Pamela Weidman from Raftellus. And then during our business meeting, we will vote on our top 5 prospects in number only. We won't name them yet. As we vote for them, then we will name them at the end of the meeting. Raftellus will then inform those finalists because the next week, October 14th, will be a meet and greet with the candidates at the Catalyst Center at 180 Water Street from 5 to 6:30 p.m. So everyone will come and everyone is in the community is welcome to come and meet the candidates. On October 15th, this is where we're going to need a motion in a moment here, but we are planning to hold a special committee of the whole where commission will interview those finalists beginning at 4 p.m. here in the City Commission chambers. We will be open for public comment on October 15th, and from October 15th to October 20th, via a form on that particular website, via email, or you know where to reach us. October 20th, we also will be taking public comment. And then in our regular meeting on October 20th, we will name our candidate. We'll discern, we'll bring forward our candidates. We will vote for the candidate that we wish to have for our next city manager on October 20th. There will then begin a period of negotiation with that person, and it is assumed and thought that during the week of October 27th, perhaps on the 27th, we will also need a special meeting to approve the contract for our next city manager. Commission, do you have any availability issues with the week of October 27th? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We would need to give the public 18 hours?
That's correct.
18 hours of warning, or
Notice, yeah.
notice, warning, to, before we can have that meeting. So we don't have to do that tonight, but I'm just wondering about your availability for the October 27th week. And depending upon the negotiation process, we may not have that yet. We may not have that availability yet. So just so you know. So that said, are there questions from Commissioner Cooney, Commissioner Decker, of things that I didn't, Mayor, that I didn't bring up here tonight?
Commissioner Cooney.
So when the applications come in, will we be able to see them?
They will come in, they will initially be reviewed by Pamela, who has all of our wish list, the results of the surveys. Pamela has the results of the surveys, and she knows what we want in a city manager. She will review all applications and bring us on October 6th the top 10. Up to 10 is the maximum number she would bring to us. Yes, so we then, between October 2nd and October 6th, will have the opportunity to read the physical applications in the city attorney's office. They will be available in the city attorney's office for us as commissioners to go over prior to the closed session. So yeah, we'll be able to read through those. Any other questions?
I was wondering if City Attorney Leal, if maybe it would be helpful to kind of help us all understand why that process is necessary at that phase of reviewing the top 10 applicants.
The process of the reviewing them at the city attorney's office. What we'll do, I mean, the reason why is that the applications that have been submitted under Michigan law, the applicants are allowed to choose if they wish to keep their applications confidential until such time as the commission selects the finalists to interview. So before then, the complete applications of those that are recommended by Raftellus, the paper copies will be available in the city attorney's office, and they're still confidential under Michigan law. And so that will allow the commissioners to come in individually, to come in and, if they wish to review the applications, and then that would help you, and when you go into closed session, to further review the applications as well. On the 6th, when you come on your meeting on the 6th and you select your top 4, top 5 candidates, We will do it by numbers and to keep the confidentiality. And then shortly thereafter, after those top 5, you'll be asked to rank your top 5. And then we will conduct the numbers as to see who the top 5 vote getters were. And those would be the candidates that you would select to interview. Either at the end of the meeting or the next day, the names of those 5 numbered applicants would be revealed to the public. But at that point, that's when they become open. They're no longer confidential.
Commissioner Cooney.
Would it be possible to have that closed meeting at 5 on the 6th? I'm supposed to go out of town that night.
On the 6th, yes, that's the closed meeting, that's our.
5?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's our
it would be
committee of the
during
whole.
your cow would be
Good.
the closed session.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooney.
Your
I'm
cow.
glad that you can be there. Yeah.
No.
So therefore, I would like to make a motion that we establish a special committee of the whole on, for interview of finalists at 4 p.m. on October the 15th, 2025.
There's
I moved.
motion made and supported by, motion made by Vice Mayor Hess, supported by Commissioner Decker. Discussion, commissioners?
Would you explain that, what you just did?
Yeah.
The motion?
Yeah.
I just move that we have a special committee of the whole meeting on October the 15th for interviews of those finalists. And you'll be back in town, correct, Commissioner Cooney? Okay. Yep. And at that time, Pamela will be with us. She will be here in town.
Question, Commissioner Decker?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, or I would like to, I don't know if this is the right place at the right time with your motions, just talk about, how we are going to formulate our questions for the city manager, interviewees, and also that process, just to make sure it goes a little bit more smoother as we do our interviews, and just make sure it's fair. And asking.
Please chime in here, but it is my understanding that Pamela will be helping us with those questions and bring those forward, the questions forward based upon what she saw in the city manager's survey.
Okay. I think I'm just hoping that we set a precedent of whatever questions they may be, we're all able to review them, but then also thinking that you want everyone to have a fair chance of saying what they want to say, so we just want to make sure that, when we ask our questions, or the questions that we're asking that we all agree to that are on the paper, and there's not extra questions that we may not ask to another individual who may not get the opportunity to answer that. So I think just not, if we can set a precedent to not stray from the questions that we are given. I mean, if there's something that we really want to ask, and I think that should be being able to see those questions and being able to have that discussion, like I really want to ask this, or just something like that. I'm just thinking of just past circumstances, and I just want to make sure everybody has a fair chance to answer every single question, and that we're not showing favoritism to individuals as we interview.
Absolutely. Agreed. And as our subcommittee meets weekly with Raft Ellis and with Pamela, we will make sure that we discuss, and we'll ask you if you have any preferences of what you would like to ask, so that we have them right here in front of us and we know what we're going to be asking. There should be, I believe, there should be an open-ended question. Please, is there something we missed here? Is there something you'd like us to know about you that we haven't asked?
I like that. I like being able to have the open-ended and not just having the direct question. That way, if there's something that they want to express, they can express it, and everybody gets that chance.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yeah, I think this is really important, because the attorney can help me with this. I think you have to ask each of the candidates the exact same questions, don't you?
In the interest of fairness, that would be wise.
Yeah, so I think there might need to be more than one open question, tell us something about yourself or something, or is there anything else? I mean, just putting that out there, because I know interviewing people for jobs at Western, I've been in charge of, and you have to ask everybody the same questions, so it's really important what questions we got there.
Yes, and we'll bring that up in our future subcommittee meetings. Thank you so much.
So, we have a motion on the floor, correct, Clerk Borling? And just to remind us here, that motion is relative to a special meeting on October 15th, correct? 4 interviews. 4 p.m. Okay. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. So now we do have a closed session on our agenda this evening, so I believe that Attorney Leal, we will not be coming back to open session after our closed session. Is that accurate?
That is my understanding from the HR director.
So this will be primarily, there will not need to be an action taken.
Exactly. We won't come back.
All right. So we will need a motion to go into closed session when we get to that point. But now is the opportunity for commissioner comments prior to our closed session. Is there anyone who wants to take advantage of commissioner comment time? Mr. Decker?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to say something real quick. Very excited that we're slowly, but we are, adding more units to our housing stock. It's going to take some time, but we're going to get there. And then that made me think about, I'm interested, Commissioner Pradel, to see how we're doing with our home share study, because that actually came up in conversation over the holiday season with some individuals within the city that I was speaking with. And then I also wanted to make a point that I did attend one of the listening sessions for the city manager search at El Concilio. It was very interesting. They had a lot of good points, and I do also believe, Vice Mayor Hess, that they are going to be putting together their lists to also give to Raftella. So I just wanted to let you know that, kind of be on the lookout for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. It was a good conversation with some of the individuals that were there. So I'm excited to see what they wrote down.
Other comments? This point, Commissioner Pradel?
Commissioner Decker, thank you. I just recently sent just a check-in with administration, just asking them like where the home share program stood. And just like the latest update is that the home share feasibility study bid was closed on July 30th. So the bid to put a study just to kind of gauge community sentiment, right? Because you don't want to roll out a program if nobody wants to take advantage of it. We want to make sure this is going to be successful, not just people who are going to open up a room in their home, but people who would want to take advantage of it. And so that's critically important. However, in that bid, there was kind of a significant price differential based on like the age demographic of like who they're assessing. And so they were hoping to go back to that person who bid to just indicate the desire to get as broad of a survey as possible with that. The plan is to still proceed with the study, and the latest that they just said was that they'll get back to me with status of how that's going with that. So it's good to see that that's continuing to go. If you remember as well, what was budgeted this year was to do the study. So that was what was budgeted in this fiscal year. So I'm excited to see that continuing to go, and including just partners in the community who've continued to keep it moving as well. Is this my, can I? Okay.
Sure.
Your mic is on, man.
All right. I also want to just send our condolences to Clerk Borling and his family on his loss of his mother-in-law recently. I know this is an inordinately busy time of year for you and your team, and but it's a stark reminder that life doesn't stop, and sometimes there's challenges in our own personal lives, but you still keep the trains moving and keeping our election going this fall as well. So thank you to you and your team, and keeping you and your family in our thoughts. We're also keeping Commissioner Hoffman in our thoughts as well this week as well, and look forward to seeing her back here soon. Just wanted to share for the team, both at the Arts Council, but also city and other partners, about the Brush the Block event. It's just really cool to see this happening with all the murals happening around. It's really an engaging event. Just even the creativity, the trolley that's going around so people can go in and view it is called the Salvador Trolley. And so just really impressive. It's exciting to see, if this is just 1 year and we have all these murals happening, imagine if we do this for the next 3 to 5 years, how much it'll brighten up our community as well. Today, a few of us were at a ribbon cutting for a small business that opened. I'm sure Vice Mayor Hess will probably talk a little bit about that. But something that was kind of neat is we have a new employee, Morgan, that I met today. And Morgan was just telling us about how excited they are to remain in the community just post-graduation. And was just telling us about their closest 3 or 4 friends, how they've all found jobs here locally, recently graduated from Western, just telling us all the different ways that they're impacting the community and have chosen to stay in the city of Kalamazoo after graduation. So I thought that was really neat and special, and welcome to Morgan to the team. Also, just want to thank everybody who's continued to engage in the city manager process. We would love to do as much as humanly possible, but obviously there are constraints in doing that. But just the fact that so far hundreds of people have engaged with us by coming here for public comment. We have our survey where there were over 400 people who've done it. We are grateful to people who've helped host special input meetings, and then people who've attended those, people who've come here for public comment, and then just people who email us and reach out to us for meetings on a regular basis. We have heard from a lot of people in this process, and so we're very grateful for all those people. I think it's a really good sign for those of us who are on the search committee to have 14 people with first week who applied for that job. And to me, what that tells you is that those 14 people were paying attention to this search. They were waiting for that application to drop, and they were eager to apply here in the city of Kalamazoo. They weren't dragging their feet. They weren't waiting until the 11th hour. They jumped on it quickly to show their eagerness to apply. And those are people from around the whole country. So that really speaks kind of an excitement of that there's some buzz around this search and that we have a pretty healthy response so far, and even just in the first week alone. So thank you to everybody who's been involved with that. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Other comments, commissioners? Vice Mayor Hess?
Sure. Well, we're back to school. It's September, and all the folks are back to school. I want to talk a little bit about education in this, our education city. First of all, Mayor and I were able to attend the OLLI, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute 10th anniversary over at Western, where not young people, but elders are able to receive information in classes and participate in learning, even in our advanced years. So I can't wait to sign up for that. And that was it was simply wonderful. It was a room full of elders. Toby, I think, were you there? I think you weren't there. Thought I saw you. But lots of really enthusiastic, wonderful learners throughout their lifetime. I was able to attend the YWCA Women's Equity Luncheon, where Eve Ewing. Eve is an educator and an author. She's at the University of Chicago, and everyone received the book Original Sins: The Miseducation of Black and Native Children and the Construction of American Racism. So she has penned this, and to hear her speak about it was simply mind-blowing. And I would recommend this book to anybody, Original Sins by Eve Ewing, E-W-I-N-G. Like Commissioner Pradel said, we attended, Mayor and Commissioner Pradel and myself attended the ribbon cutting for Kalamazoo Cream and its owner, Christy Potts. And I just want to give a shout out to Christy for her courage and her willingness to step out and to start this new one-woman business right now. But the cool thing, so they have special recipe cookies. I don't know if you had a chance to eat any, but they looked really well. They looked really great. And I'm just looking forward to that business growing. She is going to hire students and interns from the culinary program. She's an educator. Whatever you do, whether you're in a business or whatever you do, you can be an educator in this town, and that's what makes this town so great, is that everybody can seek education or deliver education to someone else. It really was an inspiration for me. So it's on, was it 1520 or 1502 South Westnedge down there, kind of kitty corner from the Shell station? at the bottom of the hill, right by Crosstown Parkway. So visit her for ice cream and cookies and some goodies. And it's a really wonderful space in the middle of the Vine neighborhood, and it's brought a lot of people together. It's a business, but it's bringing people together in this town, and that's what we need to do. And that's what happens in education. That's what happens in our schools. That's what happens in our institutions and in our colleges. That said, what can you do? What can you do to educate if you're not already educating? You can mentor, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can attend. You can support our young people in their sporting events. You can go to KPS, has a brand new, they're rolling out their new strategic plan from 2025 to 2030. It looks to be something that will inspire those in KPS, and I'm really excited about that. In my mailbox, we have Paint the Town. I'd be remiss if we didn't say something about Paint the Town Green. This is the week, for the first week of September, for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. If you should see green throughout your community, and they are always in need of mentoring and volunteers, having lunch with the littles, being a big duo, being a big brother, a big sister, or even a sport buddy. They have, what's that? Oh, okay. But it's thinkbigtoday.org/volunteers. So get out there, paint the town green, be a mentor, be a volunteer, be somebody in somebody else's life in this wonderful education city. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Hess. Other? Commissioner Decker? No? All right. Anyone else this evening wants to make a comment? Hey, I just want to follow up on something here. I know sometimes there's some concern. People who may be watching feel that, well, hey, concerns are expressed and nobody responds to that at all. So I want to hit a couple points there, but I guess the overarching one is that if there is a particular city issue there, we've got directors and staff here in the chambers, and I witnessed this tonight. I'll see a concern expressed by the young man who's actually the director of NACD, and a few moments later, Director Baker was over connecting with him, helping him, realize who he should talk to and understand the whole situation related to air quality and that sort of thing, and the work we're doing there and what more we could do. So it isn't like these comments fall on deaf ears and nobody responds. I would say that there's often a regular response, and so in the, an effort to be kind of respond to those things, and it is a bit unfortunate because generally speaking, most of the commenters leave by the end of the meeting. So certainly they'll have the opportunity to watch this, but don't stick around. So I just want to say things in no particular order, but first of all, before I get right to that, I just want to say once again, thank you very, very much to our subcommittee, Vice Mayor Hess, Commissioner Prado, Commissioner Wilson. This is a lot of extra work and thinking that's going on, debating, going through this process. Nobody here has been through a city manager hiring process before, so it's a learn while doing kind of a thing. And these three commissioners are commissioners that, for sure, will be around for the next 2 years. And so they're going to get, for sure, directly to participate firsthand in the decisions that end up being made, and that's a given. But I also want to recognize staff, and I won't go through names, but there's a lot of, Attorney Leal is helping a great deal, but there's also other city staff that are helping with a lot of logistics on this, bringing their own, good intellects to the work, and I just want to thank city staff. This is an extra thing. Thank you so much for helping with that. Back to just a few things that I was going to comment on. There were some concerns expressed tonight. I understand them about some of these community gatherings looking for input. You mentioned, Commissioner Decker, that you'd been to one. First of all, I do want to thank groups that have gone ahead and organized that, but I just want to be very clear. There was a concern expressed, well, why did the city sponsor those or organize those? Well, there was a request made that the city not sponsor those, not run those, not organize those, not have those in City Hall so they could be entirely separate from any city staff influence. I appreciate you went to one of those, Commissioner Decker. I actually chose not to because that request has specifically been made for some distancing from city staff and team from, having any effect on what comments people might make or concerns. So understand the concern, but it was actually a very intentional, not an inadvertent action that these were organized separately and not run or sponsored by the city. Just something that didn't necessarily maybe referred to a little bit tonight, but comes up from time to time. Just a reminder, the city is not financing and funding the arena. This is not a public project. You might think it is. A lot of cities around the country, going to develop big stadiums, and they go out and it's tax funded. This isn't what's happening here. This is a privately funded development. The city is not diverting funds to build an arena. This is a private development. A unique thing here in Kalamazoo, as a matter of fact. Talking about stormwater issues, yeah, that's something that gets brought up a lot to us. The city has invested well over $1 million when we did the work of dredging out the ponds, cleaning out the large culvert that hadn't been cleaned in decades and decades, almost took jackhammer to clean that out, trying to get that runoff out and down to the river. And Director Baker has spent a great deal of time, and his engineers have as well, trying to come up with what ultimately is a solution as it is, and that solution, unfortunately, is not just expanding a few storm sewer lines. That solution is really a solution that's driven by elevations, flooding in the Kalamazoo River, those kinds of things. But if you look at the plan, which is, coming together, proposed plan, it would include, it's a couple $100 million plan, and it's going to include possibly pumps, other kinds of things. It almost makes you think about the Netherlands a little bit. So anyway, it's not like no one's thinking about it. I know this is something that is certainly something that's important, to our team over at Public Services, but I don't want people to think that there's no contemplation, there's no thinking about it, there's no energy going into that whatsoever. There were a couple comments made also this evening relative, kind of disparaging of our chief, who is a great, great chief here, and I just want to say that our chief and his team have created a policy relative to the relationship and the interactions that are going to happen between our own great public safety department here and the federal department, ICE, that is referred to. And those policies, I think, are extremely appropriate. They're policies that I would suggest that we are comfortable with, we're aware of them, and I would also suggest that these are policies that have been created with a lot of input from our community partners. These are not policies that happen in a vacuum. We have engaged with thought leaders, community partners here in town who have a great interest in what those policies are, and there's been a great deal of interaction related to those policies. So it's not something that's just, happenstance. It's something that's very thoughtful, very considered, lawful, and reflective of our own community values. So I just appreciate that, Chief, for all your work on that. It means a lot, and we're very supportive of you and your team. Thank you, Manager Isma, for also being supportive of that. I'm sorry I'm talking so long here because I know we do have closed session, but I also just want to remind us, and I mentioned this before, that we're lucky that we have a skill set here inside the city relative to understanding some of these state statutes and what opportunities are available and understanding that here. We've got a great team that does that work quietly. It's not their job to necessarily advocate for a project with us. That's for us to decide, but to help evaluate what is available, the tools that are available, and what we can use, and how that all works together, to, at the end of the day, help redevelopment occur in Kalamazoo. So thank you, city team, for all that. Finally, on the agenda, we have a closed session to discuss labor negotiations And the recommended action is a motion to go into closed session. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, supported by Commissioner Decker. We will not be coming back into open session after we go into closed session. Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker. Yes. Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. I love you, Kalamazoo. We are adjourned.
Let's go to the city manager conference.